So what are the benefits of rescuing yourself from sex addiction? One really important thing to recognize is that you won't be constantly interrupted by your base physical urges. That you can have an interesting conversation with a friend without your mind rerouting you to be having sex with her or him or someone else all the time. That you won't be having to go to pornography. That you won't be having to take in the objectification, the potential harming of someone else in your mind, because that is something that is very corrosive for your mind to be taking in. Having these urges come up, it can be very, very disruptive to you. They can hijack the best part of life. Life is meant to be lived with an open heart, a purity, an innocence. You can still have a wonderful sex life and be innocent at the same time. But if you have these urges compelling you into compulsive behaviors that undermine your relationship with your daughter, your son, your colleague, your friend, you name it, these compulsive urges can very much be in the way and can cut that time short, or you could be deepening in a relationship and a friendship. But when you're having these base urges, you are undercutting the relationships and the connection around you because you're serving a different master. You're serving a master that has no interest in your happiness and your wholeness and your inner peace. When you do this work to become safe from sex addiction, you become safe for the people around you to be around you. You become safe for people to be friends with you. You become safe for people to do business with you, for people to have their children around you, because you're no longer objectifying people. You're no longer looking at yourself as some sort of machine for sexuality and performance. You are now safer to have connection with, to spend time with. People around you can see that consistency. They can see who you are. There's no more shadiness where you disappear for periods of time and no one knows what happened to you. And let's face it, we're in an intuitive energy universe. A lot of times people know what you're doing is shady, but they may not call you on it. Having a more transparent, authentic, holistic life is in your benefit in many, many ways when it comes to relationships. You will learn to see those who were once objects to you as human beings, as people who deserve better. It's so important that you stop identifying people as objects, because we are not objects. And when you see people as objects, you hurt people very deeply. And a lot of times, people who are allowing you to use them as objects have already been hurt very deeply. And that's why they're allowing for this abuse. And even sometimes lying to themselves, saying they enjoy it. They don't know what they enjoy because a lot of times they've been sexually traumatized very, very early. And they've lacked validation either by the male or the female culture. And so what you're really doing is actually traumatizing them even more. And you're hurting them. And they're hurting you. And so it's really important to begin seeing one another in our humanity, in our vulnerability. The other thing is that you'll find so much inner peace. You'll not only find inner peace, but you'll know how to set proper boundaries for yourself so that you can maintain your self-respect, and boundaries for others so that you don't degrade them. And this will also contribute to your feeling of sense of self-worth. You'll be able to heal the traumas and the wounds that caused you to misunderstand yourself and debase yourself and others. Because when you really start looking at the wounds that have caused this actions, that have caused you to overthink about sex or overuse sex as a tool for coping, then you'll understand why the hurt was caused in the first place and what you can do about that to really make peace with what happened to you. What happened to you in your trauma will never be right. But what you do about it as an adult changes everything. And it can be healed. You don't have to keep giving into these urges, giving into this secret life that you have. Now you can start honoring yourself, thinking about how to first have a relationship with yourself and later be able to have a sacred connection with somebody that you are committed to and that you love. You can live your life authentically, transparently, and you can be proud of that. You can be proud of yourself you can know that, you know what, I once behaved this way when I didn't think very much about myself and I didn't know what my life meant to me. But now that I have done the work to look inside and handle what really was going on inside, I know how important I am to myself. I know what I want my life to become. And then you can start investing in that. And that feels better and better every day that you live that way. And eventually, once you've really come into the fullness of your journey away from sex addiction, you can become the greatest mentor and leader to others. You are able to help others out of the addiction that you were once a slave to. And that is the best feeling in the world, to be able to not only set yourself free, but to set others free from the slavery of the urges of sexual addiction. Sex is a wonderful thing, but it should really be honored. It's sacred. It's not something that you want to always be doing, because the sexual energy center is a creation center. It's where your greatest potency comes from. And if you look at the wisest people, they don't use sex. They hold back on sex because they are trying to birth a new wisdom into the world, a new truth, a new way of being. Because you're able to use that creative energy center in a very different way for transformation.